but I love Cashnado.
Oh, you love Cashnado? Oh,
No,
we're
that's a
gonna do a
joke.
video on
That's
Cashnado.
sarcasm. I don't mean that. I was
I
gonna save
fell
that for
right
the
into
end,
that.
but I was like, you know what? No, I'm not.
I was like,
No.
this interview is about to take a
Like,
drastic
you know
turn.
what?
I fell right into that.
Lowest rated interview on YouTube.
All right. Welcome to Gamble Smart. We have another Gambler Audit here. We're doing with David. Dave, we got two Daves against one Mark, so we're doing pretty good. We're going to be talking to him about setting a budget, where he goes, what he plays. Always do remember that this is for advice. This is not strictly practice. You should always follow your budget. You should always set a budget. Make sure to watch your spending. Get help if you do feel you have a gambling problem. That's very important in life. Remember, we set budgets here. We play a good, strict, disciplined system, and we want to make sure to support that and to make sure gambling doesn't get out of hand. But let's go ahead and start here with David. Hey there, David. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Can't complain.
All right. So where are you from? Where do you gamble? What do you like to do?
So originally Chicago. I know another Chicago guy. Um, Overall, I usually I go to Winstar because I live like an hour away from there. So about Winstar and occasionally
Okay.
Choctaw. So pretty boring. I do martial arts as a hobby. So
Are
didn't
you in
mention it on the
Texas or are you
last
in
one.
Oklahoma?
Yeah, I'm in Texas. I'm in Dallas.
Oh, gotcha. Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay, cool. Excellent. That's actually really good because then we can totally relate to where you are and, you know, what you play normally and all that. So what do you play? What's your budget usually? Walk us through your usual trip.
Usually I go to the casino with probably about maybe a couple $100. I try to walk in with like 100 and see if I can build it up. Usually I'll play like the new 9-line pinball, or I'll play some double top dollar. Winstar doesn't have a lot of, obviously, you've mentioned this, Winstar doesn't have a lot of low volatile options, but I mean, I try to find what I can, you know.
Yeah, that's pretty. I mean, I like your selections, that's for sure. Uh,
Pretty basic. I hate the Dragon Link. I hate Cash Machine, but I love Cash. But I love Cashnado.
oh, you love Cashnado?
No,
Oh, we're
that's a
gonna do a
joke.
video on
That's
Cashnado.
sarcasm. I don't mean that. I was
I
gonna save
fell
that for
right
the
into
end,
that.
but I was like, you know what? No, I'm not.
I was like,
No.
this
I,
interview is about to take a
Like,
drastic
you know
turn.
what?
I fell right into that.
Lowest rated interview on YouTube.
That's
Cashnado.
what are you
So
talking about?
It's like, come on.
when you're playing double top dollar and pinball, um, on the double top dollar, are you doing the 10 credits? Or are you doing the uh, $2 line, so single line or 5 line?
I like the single line better.
Single line better.
But
Okay,
Winstar
gotcha.
doesn't
Well,
have it, but Choctaw does. Choctaw has one
yeah,
machine.
Choctaw
That's
has
one
it.
machine.
I think there's a single line, but I think it's $5, so it's essentially $10 spin anyway.
Well,
Um,
Choctaw Durant just got some new ones in. They have single pay line now in 25 cent, 50 cent, and a
oh,
dollar.
that's nice.
Oh, I didn't even
Yeah,
know that.
so
Okay.
so Tazzy and Jeff shouted out to us. I guess I saw one of their videos, and just last week, and they said they just put it in. So Choctaw Durant now has the single pay line top dollars in low denomination. So that's exciting. I wish
That's sweet.
Winstar would do the same because I think it starts at
I know.
$2 there on the single pay line.
Notice over at the 10 line, you can play 50 cent. So I like playing
Right,
there
but
to
I mean the
start.
single pay line. I think it
Yeah,
starts
single
at
pay
$2.
line is $2.
Yeah,
Yep.
at
So it's
Winstar.
a $4 bet. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And either which way, those are great games. Do you find that $100 is a little on the restrictive side trying to build that up? Because essentially, you know,
Well, the thing with that I was
you,
going to mention is it's kind of risque because if you get down quick, then you really don't have a lot to fall back on. So I try to bring maybe
right.
200 just in case, but I try to play with 100 just to see what I can do with it.
So you got the 100 and then 100 in reserve. I like that strategy. That's a good one.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So,
Must be a Dave thing.
Everyone disagreed with me on that in the last live, and I was like, no,
I don't think
I
everybody
know where.
disagreed. I disagree with you. No, it's not, it wasn't a disagreement. It was just more like, well, then your budget's 200. But no, I get it.
Right.
I totally get it. No, I think it's good to pretend that you have $100 and then try to forget about that extra reserve that you have. until
Right,
it's
right.
just,
Because if it turns
I
out
think it's a
well,
good
then you
strategy.
don't need it. Right.
Yeah.
And so, how often do you go? Is it once a month, twice a month, a few times a week?
Uh, I used to go at least once a month, but I've recently kind of cut it back to once every couple months.
Okay,
Just
gotcha.
then again, because I started a new job, so I'm trying to kind of just relax and not be going all the time.
That's good. Do you find your offers changed, cutting back?
I mean, Winstar never really offered me a lot to begin with. Usually, it's like $20 in free play and a couple free nights. Yeah, I
Yeah,
noticed that their
that's about
offers
it.
they're not that great.
Usually, when you cut back, they'll go up a little bit. Um, I would not go for literally months and months at a time, like 6, 7 months, and I'd have $100 sitting on there. Well, my coworker went there all the time, so I'd be like, "Hey, just use my card." And I don't know if he ever won or not. He never told me he won. So,
That's funny.
but so when what else do you play? Do you play anything like the play class two machines? Uh, do you get on some of those? Because
It's
a lot of
funny.
those are 25 cents.
It's funny because I never used to play the bingo machines, but I play the Mr. Moneybags sometimes. Usually, I just kind of walk around and try different things out.
Yeah.
I do like that 25-cent Wheel of Fortune. I forgot about that one. That's another one that's pretty good
Oh,
because
I
it doesn't
forgot about
cost a
that
lot
one.
to play it.
Right.
Is that the
They usually
bank
have a
of?
bank of
There's like 3 of them outside of the
yes.
Rome.
It's
That's
right next
okay.
to
Yeah, I
the
remember seeing
pinball
those. Yeah.
machines. It's close
Okay.
to it.
Yeah. And that's the uh 3, 5, 7, 10 credit version, right?
Hmm
Yeah, that's
I
like
think it's
that
like
one.
3 something
Yeah.
a bet, 350 a bet.
The
Yeah,
gold spin, I think.
the gold spin
Gold
one.
spin Wheel of
Yep.
Fortune.
And really, it's like Wheel of Fortune hates me, but the gold spin one is my favorite one to play just because of that gold spin, audio that goes on there. I
What's
Draws
pretty
mean,
you
cool is
in.
that's
usually doesn't like it has the option of 5xing your bet, right? Or maybe 10xing if you're really lucky. But
I've
normally we
never
get
been
the
knockout.
2x.
Yeah.
So
If I'm
It does
lucky, I
seem
get
like
the
it does seem
2x.
like on the gold spin that if you do get the gold spin, it usually ends up on a wheel multiplier. That's been my experience. Not always, but it usually does end up on one of those. So it is pretty exciting if you can get it. That's the other side of
I
it.
don't, I don't even get the extra points. Like it'll just be the 2x, but with the 1 point in the middle. Because you can get up to a 10x with the 3 points. So you get
Oh, that's a
essentially
different
3 of
gold
them at the
spin
same
than
time.
that. I think that
oh
one
yeah,
is just a single pointer. I could be wrong, but I think that's what's that one's just a single pointer.
I don't think I remember the ones there, but I remember the ones at Oaklawn having being multiple pointers.
Yeah.
So,
Now they do have
and
that
it's like,
version. Yeah, they do have that.
yeah.
I'm just not sure that's the one in the Winstar, but anyway.
So, Mr. Moneybags, do you get on to, are you in the 25 cent or do you hit the 5 cent,
sometimes
10 cents as well?
sometimes I play the 25 cent. I play I think they have a $5 denom. Every now and then, if
Yep.
I'm feeling bold, I'll just try it out.
Now, do you chase diamonds?
Oh no, absolutely not.
Okay,
No
good.
way. No
There's
way.
no diamonds on the money bags.
I forgot what game that is. Is that the Ruby? What's the name
They
of
put
it?
it
There's a
on
few of
Lucky
them.
Ducky, Ruby.
Oh, that's why I
Uh,
couldn't find it. Okay, 'cause I was looking for it.
Yeah, I don't
Bill,
think
the
Mr.
minor Bill
Moneybags
one.
has one. They might though. I don't know.
Gems, I think, has one too.
Gems, yeah,
Yeah.
there's a couple of them.
But I just can't
And that's
stand
good you
that.
don't chase it. Those are horrible to chase. I mean,
That last diamond just takes forever.
it takes forever. And it's just even worse. The diamonds before then, you just keep getting, and you're like,
you'll get 2
I'm
at a
doing
time on
great.
one spin.
Yeah. And I was
It's
like,
like
I
super
thought I
fast.
was doing awesome. And then I was stalked by a lady who wanted my machine because I was on 1 diamond, and she
Mhm.
just kept on behind me, just behind me, going back and forth, back and forth.
Stalking.
And I was like, Mark, I'm never gonna leave this machine just to mess with her.
She might have liked you. I mean, maybe that was her way of trying to get your phone number. I don't know. Could have been.
No, I
Maybe
don't think
not.
so. Like Mark had got up and left, and then she came right next to me and didn't
Yeah,
play. She was just looking at the machine. And
yeah.
I'm like, that's just so odd. I mean, I'm not going anywhere right now. So
wasn't there was also that lady a couple seats down from us that was shaking the machine. Remember that?
she's
David?
beating the machine up.
Oh
Yeah.
my god,
Because she
so
had one
annoying.
diamond left. I mean, she was manhandling it. She had it like this, like going like the whole thing was shaking.
Yeah.
I'm like, do you think that's doing anything except making you look like a doofus? Like, I don't. What's the point of that? She was
Have
really
you
into
seen
it.
any of those?
I
David,
saw
have you
this
seen any
lady
of
one
those yet?
time in. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, it's the delay. It's kind of
Yeah,
awkward
yeah.
sometimes. I was just wondering if you've seen anything Winstar like that because you've gone
Well, no, I
quite a
meant to say
bit.
I saw this at Harrah's in Vegas one time. First trip in Vegas, and I was just walking through, and I heard somebody say, "Call security," and this guy just punched the screen, like
Oh,
just wailed into it, and cracked the screen. And I'm like, okay, you're probably gonna go to jail for well, and you're banned
yeah.
from every casino in Vegas. That wouldn't surprise
And
me.
probably broke your hand. I
That's
mean,
really
Yeah.
stupid.
They'll make you
God.
pay for it. They will literally send you a bill for whatever it costs to replace. So guys, let that be a lesson to you guys out there. Don't manhandle the machines. They're not your property. I understand that they piss you off sometimes, but resist the
They don't
urge
owe
from
you
shaking
money.
it and putting your fist through it and all that. Because, yikes, they will send you. I mean, can you imagine losing your butt on a machine and then getting a bill afterwards for thousands of dollars because you cracked the screen?
It's like the worst feeling in the world, probably.
I know.
I mean,
It's like I hope it was worth it to you, and then your medical bills on top of it.
on medical bills and bail. I mean, all
Yeah,
these things.
right,
But like,
right.
what if you punched a a a Huff and Puff game, or what if you punched Lightning Link? I mean,
Yeah.
you crack that screen. The screen itself is fairly cheap, but all the labor and everything else on top of that
Yeah.
is not.
Oh, the
So,
screens are not cheap. No, the screens are not cheap. Believe me.
well, yeah, since they're coming directly from the manufacturer, they're probably way not
Yeah,
cheap.
no,
But
they are very, very expensive.
geez,
Especially if you break one of those curved ones. Those are at $9,000
Oh
or
yeah,
$10,000. So those are no joke. Don't beat the
I don't even have a
machines,
curve
guys.
monitor at home. I'm not gonna break one in a casino.
They wouldn't even fit in one of our homes unless you had like super high ceilings for those big ones.
David, do you
But
ever get to Shreveport? I know
I
it's
went there
far
once, and
away.
I did not have a good experience there. That's
no,
How about
just
which
tell
one?
us
What
well,
was
about
it?
it. What
it's
was it? What was the
unrelated to.
experience?
Okay, so I drove there with $400. Dave, you remember when we had that crazy cold ice storm about a year and a half
Oh,
ago in February
yeah,
Yeah.
when it got
yeah.
really
Oh, I
cold
totally
out?
remember that.
And I decided, oh, I'm gonna take a ride down there because it's gonna be
There's
warmer and it's gonna
electricity
be
in
nice.
Louisiana, just not
So
here.
I stayed at Bally's and I stayed at
Okay.
Horseshoe. And I just thought I don't know. It was before I learned about how to gamble and what games to play. And I walked in there and with like 4 hours, I was already out of money because I was playing
Yep.
like I don't know what I was playing. I think it was just anything and everything. I
Cashnado.
really didn't have a plan. And then my car broke down. So
Oh no.
I was 2 hours away with no way to get a hold of anybody. And I found a mechanic. He fixed it, but it was like 30 degrees. Remember that? It was cold out. It was just
Right.
really, I don't know. It's one of those things where you remember it, and you're like, you know what? It's just a bad omen. You just don't want to. You just
Yeah.
attach it with an experience, and you're like, yeah, I
Yeah.
just don't want to do that again. And
And
that just wasn't fun.
Shreveport's not really worth it. I
I
mean,
don't know.
Shreveport's
To me, it
not
was
worth
kind of
it.
boring because I was
Right.
like, oh, okay, they got 4 casinos, and then what else? Like what? Like a giant
Oh, there's nothing
river
there. Yeah, it's
river in
just
the middle of
casinos. Yeah.
a town.
Yeah.
So
That's it. I mean,
I think
Shreveport. Yeah.
I
I
mean, if
think
you want
Lake
to play the
Charles
old
is
school
even
games,
worse.
I guess, yeah.
And it's so smoky as well. Like it's just really smoky. Like even smokier than Winstar.
Yeah.
Every casino in Shreveport is just really bad. At least Winstar, it's big enough to where you can go to a non-smoking room. But in Shreveport, the last non-smoking room I saw was at Samstown, and it was a room. It was a small room at that, on the second floor. So all the smoke rose up the middle of the little, center area onto the second floor in the first place. So it
Wow.
wasn't
Oh
the
yeah,
best.
yeah. And I think it's weird how I think it's Bally's or no Samstown. They have that casino with like the three floors, like the middle floor is like the low limit,
Yes.
and it's weird. I'm just like I don't know.
Because of the boats,
I,
it's a boat. So
I
yeah.
Yeah.
oh shoot, cats joining the
Yeah.
party. Sorry about that. I totally didn't see
What
that
about
coming. I was like, well, yeah. So But yeah, I mean, it wasn't the best experience.
So your last few trips, how have they gone overall? Like, are you ahead? Are you down?
I'm probably ahead because usually I'll walk in with $100 and I might make like if I make 100 and if I win about 300, I might play off like 50 or 75, and I'll cash out about, if not even, maybe a few dollars ahead. So
I don't know. Maybe we got the wrong Dave on this show. This guy knows all this stuff.
Do you find it fairly easy to stop and get in the car and go home, or do you feel like you have to keep playing there for a certain amount of time?
That's kind of a loaded question. Because I would say
that's why I asked it.
I think that's I knew what you were doing there. How you're doing? Like if I walk in with $100 and I walk in, and 10 minutes later I'm up to 400, I'll sit there and I'll walk away and then I'll say, okay, I got $400 in my pocket. I'll take out 100 of that 400. That way I know I'm up by 100 or up by 200, and I'll just play off that. And I'll just I'll just walk around and to me, it's like a challenge. If I can play the low denoms and just see what I can do with it, it's kind of fun to me. So if I lose that 100, but I walk away with 300, then that's a win.
Yeah, that's definitely the way to do it. I mean, I think a lot of people, a lot of people make the mistake at that point. They're up 400. What do? Oh, you know what? I'm going to go to the high limit room, do some damage in there because I'm up 400. Now it's time to play $10, $5.
That $25 double diamond.
Yeah, yeah. But
if you hit on there, I mean, you'll do great.
Yeah, I know, but that's the dangerous thinking. It's the whole if you hit it. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with every now and then. I mean, Dave and I do this. If we're doing really well for the night, we'll put $100 in a $25 machine and spin it 4 times. But
he will.
Yeah, it's like he tops out at 10, but I think it's like it's one of those things too where at some point you're comfortable with losing $100 to try to push your risk on something. I would never do that with my starting budget, by the way. Never. I would never go in there and start doing stuff like that. That's only if I'm well ahead, and I still want to gamble, push my luck a little bit. But I will do 100 and then I will get out of there. Like that's the trap of, upping your denomination and playing riskier games like your, huff and puff and stuff like that, is that you can lose everything that you've worked so hard to, you've worked so hard on that top dollar in pinball and even some mustard money bags to double your money or even get it up to 400. Why do you want to piss it all away in 5 minutes on a high limit machine? You shouldn't do that. But if you are comfortable with it, maybe just try 100 and see what happens. If you're on your way out the door.
I do want to do just for fun is take a couple $100 and put it in $100 Wheel of Fortune and just see what I can. Because I've seen people hit that wheel and I'm like, that just looks so much fun. Doing like $4,000, I'm like, you know what? That's got to be a fun experience.
Yeah, yeah. And it's okay to do that. You got to do it at the right times. And I think that's where a lot of people. I know you don't, but I know a lot of people screw up with that. Like their mentality is, I'm up, I'm doing well. Let me go take that $400 that I have now and go to the high limit room and play in there. And then they lose it within a couple of minutes.
Thing too, that's funny to me. And we've talked about this, but like if you're in a casino, you feel like it sounds ridiculous, but if you walk outside, you feel like you're back in reality. But when you're inside a casino, you're like plugged into the matrix, and you're like, oh, it's $400, man.
Yeah,
and this is, it's only 200. I'm gonna go blow it on this $10 machine, and it goes away. You're like, oh, it's no big deal.
Yeah,
and you walk away empty-handed, and you're like, I could use that $200 for something else.
Yeah.
So
that's when you start.
Yeah, I remember we did talk about that.
What else could this be? What else could this be? What else could this $200 be? It's like that's pretty good. But
yeah, I know we hit on that. Especially this is actually our second do-over for Dave. So maybe we'll release the other one as little nuggets. But we actually did talk about that, and we talked about it a little bit with Drew, right? The whole concept of the devaluation of $1 when you're inside of the casino, where $100 is quite a bit when you're going in there, but as soon as you get in there, it's like you just lose all consciousness of how much that actually the value of it to you. because that's the whole design of the casino is to keep you just keep feeding those hundreds in like they're candy, like it's the dollar bills, and
They want that.
They want that, and so by stopping and taking a break, especially if you did work it up to 400, or even if you got a really nice hit that more than doubles your money, cashing out and taking that break and then evaluating it by looking at the money, not in front of a slot machine, but somewhere else in your hotel room, in your car, or outside, whatever, looking at it and say, what could I buy with this? Or what could this do for me? Maybe that's time to get up and leave because you want to get something cool with it,
Have you ever noticed, just for fun, have you noticed that there's a pawn shop right next to Winstar?
Oh God, yes. It's like every
You know
casino.
who owns the pawn shop?
And I'm like, dude, probably Winstar.
Winstar owns the pawn shop.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's right there, and I'm just like, this can't be that obvious. This can't be.
There's probably some good stuff in there.
There probably is, but I'm just thinking, yeah, this is promoting. I mean, you know who they're catering to. You know what they're doing.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Everywhere you find casinos, you find pawn shops close by.
We're just trying to offer, some
cash
nice items for
checking,
sale.
payday loans, all that stuff is around.
It's everywhere, and they'll do all that for you at Winstar too. They'll cash your paycheck, they'll cash Social Security check, they'll do all of it. They do not care until it's time for them to start caring, which is generally when you've lost it all, you don't have any more money. They're like, oh, go get some help, even though we encouraged you by cashing everything you got.
But that's the trick, though, is that they're not allowed to offer you help unless you make the statement. You have to say, I need help, or never mind, I don't want this cash advance because I can't afford it. Like, if you use any of those key words, then they will put a stop on giving you money and then hand you the pamphlet with information on, Gamblers Anonymous and all that kind of stuff. But if you don't make any of those gestures, even if you look physically shaking and you've declined every single credit card that you have in your wallet at the cage, they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop trying to cash stuff for you. You have to make this first statement. I don't know what the reason is. Maybe there's some legality around that, but that's what I've heard and that's what I've seen. So that's why we always talk so hard on this show. It's like, it's really up to you. You have to have full control over that because the casino is not there to stop you. They're there to cash your check so that you can keep playing. Like that's their business model. And so you have to be the strong one to realize where you need to stop. And that's why, again, you may be the smartest person alive and you may think you have the strongest willpower, but at some point you're going to mess up because of the distractions and everything that's going on inside of the casino. And so if you remove all of those elements by leaving all your cards at home, and Dave, I know you do this, leaving all your cards at home, just bringing your cash, remove all temptation completely. Then even if you end up in that mode where you're like, I got to keep playing. My friends just got here. I want to try to, win some more, that kind of thing. You're out of money, and you will thank yourself on the way home when you get home. Like, thank God I did not bring my ATM card, thank God for that.
And this is a stating the obvious again, but people are so religious with how they do things. Like they'll walk in, they're like touching the glass and they're like doing the Hail Mary, and I'm just like, you think that's going to help you? I don't know. I just
card in, card out, card in, card
with a
out.
Catholic background, I'm just like, you know what? Yeah, God is not going to. The Heart Father is not going to save. It's not going to save you on the double diamond.
He probably doesn't want you in there.
God does not promote gambling.
Yeah.
I don't think he does.
God's like 700 other people, and they're asking for the same thing. It's not.
When they said, what would Jesus do? They didn't say go to the casino. It's
double down. That's what Jesus would do.
Double down.
Jesus was a double down kind of guy.
Oh my God! Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, you don't need your house. Go ahead and sell the casino your house. You don't need it.
Yeah, get rid of worldly possessions. Right, that's in there.
Yeah.
Since you are so close, do you ever feel like, like in Vegas, sometimes you feel like, oh, I have to make the most of this because I flew here, I'm so far away. But at Winstar or Choctaw, they're essentially an hour and some change away. Do you ever feel like you're trapped? You can't leave because it's only an hour and a half drive. Do you ever have that feeling of, what do you do in that situation?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up actually, because Vegas. I think Vegas is more dangerous than Winstar, like 10 times, because in Vegas, everywhere you walk, there's a casino. So if you lose, $100 at one, and you try to walk away, it's like, oh wow, there's another casino. But at Winstar, you have to. I told Mark this. You literally, like, if I win money, I literally just stand up, I make a beeline to any door at all, and I don't look at anybody or anything, and I just get out of there. And it sounds
There you go.
ridiculous, but because if I make eye contact with any other machine, I'm going to think I don't want to have that millisecond of thinking, you know what, like shiny object syndrome. You're like, you know what,
I could
I
do
want
it
to go
again. Let me go this one.
play that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I've done that. I've been like, I got 10 more bucks. I'm going to blow on that oh my God, Thunder Cash. I'm going to go play that
Thunder
real quick.
Cash.
But it's like, you know what? No, you just got to get out of there. But
Yeah.
Vegas,
And that's a
there's
good
free
practice.
alcohol and there's, I mean, not to mention that there's restaurants too that can stop you. I might go grab a bite over at Four Queens and go have a quick drink, and then as I'm drinking, there's that machine right next to me.
Yeah.
Vegas plays off temptation, which
Oh
Yeah.
gosh, yes.
stating the
Yeah.
obvious, but if you don't think
But
about
Winstar,
that,
you can
then
just
get up
get a
out of
bite
there.
to eat on the way home.
Mhm.
Like, oh,
Yep.
when I pass through Sherman, I'm going to get a bite there. When I pass through Gainesville, I'm going to get a bite
They have a
there.
good, they have a good
And
barbecue
so that's why I
restaurant in
always try to, like,
Gainesville.
right, it's really good. And then
Oh,
Babes is in Sanger.
we stop in Gainesville all the time for that very reason. It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a point where, and I hope a lot of you out there have this feeling where you just say, I'm done. I got to get out of here. Like whether you're doing well or you're doing poorly. I always have that moment where I'm like, I'm done. I got to get out of here. Even in Vegas,
Gotta
I'll
go.
go down and have my sessions and play, and I'm just not feeling it, or I'm not doing well, or whatever. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm done. I'm going to go in my room and sit and watch a movie or do something. And I do the same thing at Winstar too. Like we always, whenever we wake up, we stop at that Sonic that's right next to Winstar on the way out of town to get breakfast. Because it's like, if we stay in there, the temptation is going to be pulling me because you could see all the slot machines right from where you're sitting to eat, and they're staring you in the
They're like
face.
calling your name. It's like,
I
no,
know,
I
and
didn't
it's
You're
like,
sitting there, you're eating, and all of a sudden
go
you're
for the
like,
corn.
yeah, I know. It's like this, and it's like, oh,
you're like,
just
you're
one
taking
more
a bite
20.
and
I'll just put
looking.
a 20 in this real quick. That's that kind
It's
of
like, you know
stuff.
what?
And it's
Can I
like,
trade this half-eaten sandwich for a $10 bill? No.
For
that's
$10,
right.
$10 free play.
No.
And then you hear a
Yeah.
bell go off, and it's like,
Yeah, you
where's
start
the bell at?
You start having
distracting.
like PTSD in your sleep. You wake up, you hear that bell. You think it's your phone going off for work. It's like, nope. It's the Mr. Moneybags.
Yeah. Oh God.
Mr. Moneybags
So
is calling.
It's the bell is calling you. It must come back.
David, I gotta say, I mean, as far as
I
any
know what you're
advice
gonna
I
say.
have,
I
I think
think.
you already have
I
it.
know. That's what Mark told me
I
last time, and
mean,
I'm like,
you
I wish I was
are
more. I wish I was more degenerate. I mean,
no,
if I came, if I
that's
came
not what
on
I'm
just
saying.
if I came on just shaking really bad, like cash out button, max bet,
No.
max bet. It's like no.
But that's a good thing is that you've got that discipline down there, and you have a good base of this is how much I'm bringing, and you're not tempted to go often because that's another that's sort of the opposite problem of it's so close. You're either going to be tempted to go often, or you'll be like, it's so close. I don't need to go there that often. And so, but you have that down to where that discipline where you're now going less, you're not going as frequently. The only thing I could really say as advice is to maybe change up from Winstar to Choctaw, depending on which one's closer. Especially if you are a little bit a little closer to Choctaw, going there and seeing if your comps are a little bit better for a while. Um, and then
Mhm.
obviously going back to Winstar if you don't find a thing. They're pretty much the exact same as far as
Have you ever
games
been,
availability. Go ahead.
just out of curiosity, since you're in Dallas, have you ever been to any other casino in Oklahoma, like
Oh
Bacola
yes,
or like Stringtown? I've never been to those. Are they pretty good?
I've been to Riverwind up near Norman. The name of the casino I can't remember up near Oklahoma City. Then there's that one crappy one just north of Wichita
They have a
Falls.
Hard Rock in Oklahoma somewhere.
I think it's in Tulsa, actually. I think the Hard Rock's in Tulsa. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I haven't been to that one, but I actually have heard good things about it. It's not wow, but it's decent. And that's the sort of the Seminoles trying to grab that little market share in Oklahoma because all the other tribes are competing in Oklahoma. They're not really competing that much anywhere else except for California. So they're really trying to just grab market share as best they can. And so you see so many Oklahoma casinos, and we saw the exact same thing. I'm just gonna make a quick leap here of the same thing happened with when weed went legal in California, Nevada, and it medical in Oklahoma, is that it's everywhere. It's so prevalent. There's a casino in every gas station. There's you know, uh, a weed shop in every corner. But at some point, they're going to start coming back down. The saturation's going to, drive the little ones out of business. The bigger ones going to stay. But we're definitely going to see that in Oklahoma, and maybe one day in Texas, we'll see, you know,
hmm
that kind of competition for gambling. Not anytime soon,
Oh, and then I meant
but
to add in, I don't know if Mark told you, but I do like playing that new 9 line pinball, but I'll play the 6 line to build up
oh,
over time.
nice, yeah,
So like I'll sit there and I'll play I'll put $100 in, I'll play only 6 lines and I'll get the 3 shots. And I'll just kind of like slow roll it over time. And then if I get it a couple times, and I might amp it up to like, I think it's the 7 line where you get the 4 shots, and then so on and so forth.
yeah, and that's
I was
smart
thinking,
thinking as well.
I think Dave, we talked about that last time. I
And
think
I
we
love
should
it. I
try
think
that.
it's awesome. I like how
I think
I
we
like
should
how
try
I
you.
want
that.
to try that.
I've never, I can't say that I've ever. Well, I did
Can't believe
once, but
nobody's
that's
ever
because I
done
only
that.
had
That's
6
what blows
credits
my
left.
mind.
But I think that
Everyone
would be a
gets
fun
stuck on
challenge
the
to do.
5 shots. That's what happens. Is 5 shots. I got to go for 5 shots.
Yeah,
But your exposure is less if you go for the 3 and build
yeah,
up from there. And I think maybe the reason that a lot of people, especially people who are familiar with the older pinball, is because you only got 1 or you got 4.
yeah,
There was no
yeah.
middle ground there. So that might be the apprehension of bringing it over from the game. But you have a great point in playing the 3 shots and the 4 shots and the 5 shots. I mean,
Mhm.
especially as a way to start down on your base and build up slowly. That's a great one for
It's
sure.
funny you mentioned that. I've never played what is it, the pinball, not the double gold, but what's the other one? It
The
didn't
triple
do well
diamond,
in
double
it didn't
diamond,
do well. It didn't do well in casinos. The other
Oh,
pinball,
pinball gold,
pinball
the
gold, yeah.
3
pinball
pay
gold.
line one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that.
think
yeah,
I
that
think
one's.
I think Let's Go Ham. I think they did a video on it. It's
Yeah,
only
they
Yep,
one
they
of
did.
them,
did.
and I watched it. And it was kind of weird. I was like, I don't know if I care for it.
Yeah, I
It's
think
not a
Planet
great game.
Hollywood has one. That was it.
Yep.
Um,
Planet Hollywood has one. Flamingo, I think, still has one. No, Flamingo got rid of theirs. Yeah, because
yeah,
Harris renovated their high limit room, and so did Flamingo at the same time. So it's gone. So it might still be the one at Planet Hollywood. That's it. It wasn't a very good game. It didn't have a good
no,
play with it and everything else.
it's just really tough to get the bonus. I mean, pinball's already hard, 1 in 64, but pinball gold was higher than that when it comes to frequency of the bonus. And so I think a lot of people got a big turn off of that. Now the bonus rounds were a lot bigger because you
Right.
got the multipliers and stuff inside of the bonus rounds. I will say it's a fun game to play. I have that kit here at the house, and I've played it here. And I can confidently say I would never play that one in the casino. I've
Because I
been able
remember
to play it
watching it.
for free money. So,
I
um,
remember I remember watching it. And it takes a while to get the bonus.
yeah,
It's like
it does.
at least 60 spins.
Yeah,
So
it takes a lot. But I mean, the trade off there is just like with any kind of volatility on a game. It's higher in volatility, meaning that the bonus round, once you do get it, it pays on average a lot more than the regular pinball. So it's one of those games that you got to hit it and quit it like really fast. Like you got to sit down and just put $100 in. If you get it, awesome, you're ahead of the game. You're going to get a good bonus round that'll win you more than the 100 that you put in. But if you don't get it in the 100, don't chase it. Just get up and walk away. So it's one of those types of games. So it's not terrible. It's just not my cup of tea. I don't like playing those kind of games unless I'm like way up, like doing really well, and I want to really push my risk, with something like that. But
I mean, they do have
yeah,
a
that's
five
dangerous.
thousand. They do have a $5,000 spin machine at I think it's Bellagio or Hard Rock.
Bellagio.
Yeah.
And I'm
Bellagio
like,
has
you know
one.
what? Maybe
Yeah.
I'll take out a cash advance for that one. No,
Oh,
I'm not. I'm
yeah.
not doing that.
Just
That's
for one
I'm gonna
spin, right?
if
I'm
I
gonna
win
take
the
out a
five
home
hundred
improvement
thousand,
loan.
I'd say it's worth it. You know what?
That's a home improvement
I'm
loan.
gonna do a cash out refi on my house.
Yeah, cash out refi.
And
Dave
the
Ramsey's
mortgage
probably
guy's asking you,
Dave's
what
probably
are you
having a
using this
heart. Dave
for?
Ramsey's
Yeah.
having a heart attack on his show. Like, oh my God, why would he do that? Like, no.
When
To
you apply
win.
for loans, they should put a little another radio button that says other, so you can put something in there. And I
Other.
said, I've always wanted to do one spin on a
I've always wanted to play
$5,000
5,000 a spin.
That's crazy.
Well, the thing is, like, even a cherry is a hand pay. So it's like, I mean, you're paying taxes on that thing so hard,
And then you're paying taxes on the loan that you took out, or
and you're
not
paying
taxes,
taxes
but
on the
I mean,
loan
interest.
as interest
I would,
rate.
I mean, I would tend to think the payback on that is like 98%, which I
Oh,
mean,
it
I
will.
know, I know
Yeah.
payback percentage doesn't mean anything, but it
Yeah.
would be interesting to find out.
I
Yeah,
could
I'm
do
sure
two
all
spins.
those are set at the highest they can be, but still, it's
And then you got people who say, "Oh yeah, if you go downtown, I'm gonna win more money because it's, we have loose slots." I'm like, well, we all know what that means.
yeah.
So,
They're all the same. It's they're all the same. Play the games with the fewest amount of wilds. That's about the best you can do.
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise, you're just playing the stuff that they want you to play, and the stuff they want you to play makes them the most money for the reason.
well, just remember though, I mean, the best way to win is if the buffet is serving shrimp. That's when you win. That's when you know you're gonna win. If I walk by and I smell shrimp, I'm like, you know what?
Yeah, this is it right
a
here.
winning day.
What if it's like, is there like a difference between frozen shrimp and fresh shrimp, or popcorn shrimp? And
It's
I
gotta be
mean,
fried shrimp. It's gotta be fried shrimp.
see, I think it's got to be the peel and eat shrimp, because
That's too much work
Yeah.
though.
that's what I think
You got
of.
messy slot machines just sitting there like,
Right.
why am I
Everything starts to
sliding
smell
off this
fishy
chair?
after a while.
Exactly.
I think
Well,
it's a perfect opportunity to go up to the restaurant and say, what kind of shrimp do you have?
what kind of
And
shrimp
they're
are
like,
they?
well, we have fried, grilled. I'm like, do you know which one makes the odds better on the machines right here?
I think that would, and they look at you. Everybody looks at
The
you, looks at you,
confusion in the face would
baffled,
be
like,
worth
what's
it.
wrong with this guy?
I know.
I think you need to
It'd
call
be hilarious
security
if
on
somebody
this
said the butterfly shrimp. just completely straight
Yeah,
faced and just
like
say
right away.
butterfly shrimp.
Oh, fried shrimp,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah. You want the coconut shrimp? We're not serving those today. I'm sorry.
Oh man, I got to go to another
So funny.
casino then.
So funny enough, I remember at one point I was the guy who would play the ones on the end of rows. I'd be like, I try to find the ones that show a win. Oh, if it shows a win, it means it's gonna hit. It's a hot
Yeah.
machine. And I'm just
Yeah.
It's on the end of the
scouring,
row.
stalking the rows, like, oh, this one shows a win. I'm like, and once you look back, you're like, you know what? Yeah, I wish I would have had a better thought process. But
you
you
can't
live and you
blame
learn.
yourself.
You live and you learn. I mean,
Yeah, you can't blame yourself for that because I mean,
No.
there's no manual on these things that people can. Even if there was, they wouldn't go and look because superstition and pattern recognition always takes over all of that kind of stuff. It's
mhm.
just like why most people when they get furniture, like, they look at the instructions, they just throw it away. Like forget it. I'm just gonna do this myself.
I can
I
figure it
don't
out.
I don't need instructions. And so
What's
Then you
this
have the
Stuka
head.
Nigan?
yeah, right. But when it comes to like slot machines, it's like it's so easy to get caught up in what you feel like are patterns. And I know this is true because I went through it before I really learned how all these things work. I went through the same thing. I used to think that, the way the top dollar bonus round worked is that if you get a lot of crappy offers, a good one's coming. So you should always just keep going until a good one shows up. And I used to always think that. And then I also used to think about the active balancing where, man, I've gotten a lot of bonuses here on this machine. I better get off of it because it's going to start like just being on the take. And the reason I thought that is because those activities actually did occur, but it wasn't purposely occurring. It wasn't built into the programming of the machines to do that. It's just part of randomness. Like that's how those things have to happen in order for randomness to be occurring. You're going to have instances where things are just happening in sequence and it looks like a pattern. And then you suddenly make that jump saying, you know what? I don't know what it is, but always when I play the ones at the end of the row, it seems I always do better. So there's got to be something to that. And you get that in your mind and you run with it. And
It's
then
funny you
nobody's there to tell you that it's BS, so you just kind of deal with it, and I understand why people get into that. I totally do it.
It's funny you say that because I still, this day, when I play at the D downtown, I still go to that same Wheel of Fortune machine that I won my first jackpot on. In the back of
Yeah,
my mind, I still think, you know what? I might get that
I
triple X7 red hot over again.
I
We
know.
all do it.
And I'm like, you know what? It just sounds, because you just can't help it. You're like,
You can't
this is where I won my
listen, like
first jackpot
you
at.
could be so disciplined. I mean, Dave and I, we've always taught like how these things actually work. But even when we're in the moment, we're caught off guard chasing that last diamond and doing stupid stuff
One
like
more
that
bonus.
because it just oh man, the pull that these things have is so overwhelming that it just, if you're not in the right state of mind, it'll just completely wipe you out and take over every thought and reason that you have.
And I'll tell you
And
something
then, like you mentioned earlier, you add
Right.
alcohol to it, and it's 10 times worse. So,
Oh, absolutely. Well, and the thing
so
too is I think I've gotten good at like reading people who I can tell have a problem. If that makes sense, you can look at certain
Oh yeah.
people and just tell something's off.
yeah,
Like I had this
You
lady
can look at
sitting
their
next to me one
mannerisms.
time. Oh yeah, I was playing pinball at Winstar, and this lady sits next to me. I could just tell. I was like, just making small talk. Oh, how's your night going? Oh, these machines are beating me up, and I hate hearing that because I know it must be a really bad night. And she's like looking through her purse, and I can tell she's digging through her purse, and I'm
That
like,
last
oh
20.
no, and I want to say something like, you might want to get up and just tell you what, how about we go like get a cup of coffee, and you just want to help
right.
people. That's just me, but
Right.
Yeah,
I try to be the advocate, but it's like, you know what, sometimes you just can't do it.
it's especially
Actually,
worse than a casino. Yeah,
there's actually a old scientific paper on positive thinking and winning. Now, obviously, it doesn't have any bearing on slots, but the whole premise of it is if you go in to things with a positive outlook, anything that you're going to do better at it, you're going to excel more at it, and you're going to win. This is a huge thing with sports and all that with positive thinking. But a person tried to push it into gambling, and they did a limited study. Obviously, it wasn't very big because it's not like he has a ton of money to work with, but it was being positive and thinking positive, going into playing blackjack and putting that positivity forward, and you win. And so I realize slots are completely different than blackjack, because your positive outlook might actually make you do things differently. But in slots, they're not. But I always try to go in with I'm feeling good. Like if I'm putting money in and I'm not feeling good, I don't put the money in because
yeah,
whether I win or lose, if I go through that positive attitude, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do well. And I work with a guy, Thomas, who historically does not do well at things. And I tell him, think
Murphy's
positive,
law.
think positive before you play. Yeah. And I am also a huge, I guess, a huge example of you can get bad top dollar offers repeatedly and they just get worse. So I know that's for sure
yes,
not right.
yeah.
Oh yeah, and then there's two games I do hate. By the way, I don't know if I mentioned that earlier. Well, I don't hate them, but I don't really play them. I hate that 3x, 4x, 5x pay.
That's bad.
Oh
That's a
yeah,
bad
I
game.
can't stand, and I hate haywire.
You hate
oh
Haywire.
Oh,
Oh
hang on, wait, is
wow.
it? Hey, wait, is it? No, it's not haywire. It's the one that's. It might be haywire because you got that little tiny bank of machines. It's right there by the Italian restaurant at Winstar. They have a 3x, 4x, 5x, and then right
yeah.
next to. No, it's a. No, it might be double gold with the
Oh,
Oh,
double
let's
symbols.
gold.
look at
Yeah, it
it.
is double gold.
And I feel
Yeah,
like it's so volatile and so
it is.
like goofy. And you play it and you're like, oh, I won my little 2 credits, but they got these massive $40,000 prize,
Yeah.
which nobody ever wins.
Yeah,
No. It's
double
like no
gold's
one ever
very
wins them.
deceiving. Like
It's
people
not
think,
haywire. I was thinking.
yeah, there is a 9-line double gold. I know they have that. Because they when they first put those in there, they had the 3, 4, 5 times pay 9-line. They had
Next to the pinball.
pinball, and then they had the double gold next to that, I think.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. You know what
And
I'm
then there
talking
was
about.
like a 4 times pay or something. It was something else, but um, yeah, double gold's very deceiving. A lot of people think that it's low in volatility. It's an easy game because, yeah, but you get paid some credits if you get mixed symbols on the line. Well, yeah, that's true, but how often does that really happen on that game? It's hard. There's a
Yeah.
lot of blanks on that game. I've never done well. I've played it and played it and played it, and I've never done well on double gold ever. I've never gotten anything
I'm
big.
not. I'm not sure if you guys remember it, but Winstar used to have in the Rio room. They had an old penny. I think it was a triple diamond, like a 9-liner. And I
Yeah,
used
I
to
do
go back
remember
there
that.
and
Yeah.
I used to go back there and play, and it was fun. It was super
Yeah,
old. You put in $20, and
that's a good one.
it's an
Yeah,
easy bankroll, or it's an easy
Yeah.
point building game.
And you could play at a low limit as well. You didn't have to play.
Of course, they got rid of
bet.
it.
Yeah, of course they did.
And they used to have a
It wasn't
$25
paying
wheel.
off that much.
And they used to have a $25 wheel of fortune. High limit machine.
Oh, really? Oh.
Old school. Yep.
Do they still have that?
Winstar's definitely made its way up. Like, you know, I mean, I haven't been going for long, but it's just based on talking to people and listening to what they have to say, like those old style games are just pretty much gone. And that's why we've always struggled when people say, well, where are the low volatility games at Winstar? I'm like, there really isn't. Like, there are, but you got to start at $25. Like, it's tough. And so that's why we felt like the Class 2 games are the better choice. If you're going to have to pick volatility, you know, those are just can be very good. Yeah. And funny enough, I actually got an email from a guy who has been commenting on our posts and over at Cowboy Slots too a lot. Very intelligent guy. He's always made some really good posts. And he reached out to me because he has some more information on Class 2. And he basically, just a spoiler alert, they are pretty much exactly the same as Double Diamond. Same payback return, everything. So I'm feeling more and more confident about saying if you're looking for a low volatility game, finding that Mr. Moneybags 3-reel single pay line is still a pretty good overall. And listen, we've done really well on those every single time we've been there. Lil Joe got that 240 credit hit.
Yeah. I never play slots. I never win.
You know, well, you're going in with the wrong attitude, Dave. You're too happy.
No, that's what Joe said. He's like, I never play slots. I never win. And he's like, boom, hits $240. I was like, well, that's pretty good, Joe. He's like, yep, I'm out. I'm like, good, get out.
If you've ever seen Motivational Moxie commenting on your videos, that's actually me.
Oh, is it?
Okay. That's me. Yeah,
okay. I know who you are. Okay.
I watch a lot of your videos.
We have talked back and forth so much.
Yeah, no, Dave. Yeah, I commented a lot on your videos I was like, you know what? You had a what to do in Vegas if you're broke, and I like that one. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Because I've been broke before in Vegas often.
It sucks. It's a sucky feeling if you never.
Yeah.
You feel really empty, but you know what? You find things to do.
Yeah.
You find things to do, and that's the one thing is you have to just remember that even if you're at a casino, you don't have to gamble. You can just people watch. You can just walk around. You can do all these other things. There's so much to do, not just in Vegas, but other casinos. Like I have taken time in Winstar and just people watched because there are so many
there's some interesting people at Winstar.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna say interesting as a polite way, yes.
Well, I'll tell you something funny too. Like, I told Mark, if you look at Vegas as like one giant bar and get rid of the slot machines, it gives your mentality a different outlook. That way, you're not just gambling. If you just say, you know what, imagine if these slot machines weren't there, and you're just there to go watch the football game and get some free food and just relax, it makes you have a little more self-control. If that makes sense.
True.
No, it makes perfect sense.
Just pretend you're not there. Just pretend it's a giant room.
I mean, listen, I mean, if you're going to, the inevitable outcome when you go to Vegas typically is you're going to lose your budget. I mean, most trips are like that. But what we really don't want people to do is to lose it on the first hour that they're there or the first night. It's like, if you're going to go home broke, go home broke right before your flight so that you had a bunch of entertainment along the way. And if you do take those breaks and you split your budget up amongst every day that you're going to be there, you can accomplish that easily. But so many people, as soon as they hit that casino floor, when they get there, they don't even check in. They've got their luggage with them. You've seen them, you know, and they're gambling before they even get to the room. And it's like, your budget's going to be gone, and then you're going to be stuck in that room for 3 days. And sure, there's a lot to do, but your attitude might be a little bit different, knowing that, oh, why did I do that? Why did I do that? I was so stupid. Now I'm not going to be able to, you know, my friends are going to want to go play, and I won't want to do it because I don't want to watch them, and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So
I'll tell you what, though, I do want to try to play poker. That's one game I have not really. Blackjack, I have an idea how it works. I never played Baccarat because that's only spies play Baccarat. You know, only James Bond plays Baccarat. But I do want to play poker because I feel like obviously that's got the lowest casino edge. So any advantage
It's
you can
got
have
zero
with it,
casino edge.
Yeah, they don't
casino
make
edge.
any money off of it.
So
It's just the rake that's
It's you
being
against the
taken.
player. Yeah.
Yep. And definitely check out Club Mike V's poker. It's a great place to get started. But Winstar Poker is actually really good. So is Choctaw's. Choctaw's room's a little bit better. It's a little nicer. Winstar's room is massive, but they do have constant 1-2 games there. And on the most part, they're very not intimidating. So I'd say get your base experience and then go up there with $100 and see how you do. You know, it's one of those things where it's great to play up there because there are so many people who are new to poker playing up there. So you're not gonna be alone. Now there's the sharks too, but generally the sharks aren't at the 1-2 table. They're at the 2-5 or higher tables.
okay. So would you
Definitely.
say that if you're to say you took $300 to a casino, and say you want to I don't want to call it guaranteeing a win, but if you walk into the high limit room and say you're playing pinball on $10 denom, would you say that's a pretty good bet? Because you know you're probably gonna get the bonus with $300, right? You would think.
No.
What's
No.
okay? Never mind. It's $20 a smack, so 20, 40, 60,
Yeah.
80.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like what
You
12.
could,
That's not a
but
lot.
If it
yeah,
was
you
$300,
just
I would focus on the class
yeah.
2 machines in that $5 range. $5
Yeah.
one credit to spin, but the $3 $1 machines, or even the 5 lines, that's a pretty good, base to way to build up. Um, so I mean, it's one of those things. So going in the high limit room is good if you have a large bankroll.
Yeah.
I really don't consider anything less than $1,000 a large bankroll. Um, and so that's why I play where I can afford to play, which is that $300 $500 range, and that's my budget. And that's what I stick to. And other people want to take more. That's great. But going into the high limit room with $300, you're going to want to be a little more conservative on the
Cautious.
domination. Maybe,
Mhm.
yeah, maybe stick to the $1 denom for pinball because you are playing, 10 a spin, unless you do um, the 6 credits to make it stretch out a little bit longer. But otherwise, I would stick to the class 2s and the $1 and maybe $1, $5 one spin denomination, um, but not go that high, just because of the highs and lows of gambling. You're not going to make it through the lows with $300 in the high limit room.
Yeah.
See, I never got to play the 5-line top dollar that Mark talks about. I never got to play it because I wanted to go to Luxor and check it out, but he told me they're not there anymore.
Yeah.
They're gone from Luxor. I'm sure there are
I
some
watched that
somewhere.
video of yours and I was like, that looks so fun. That looks like a blast.
It is so
Oh,
fun.
it's a great. I wish they would bring it back
I
just
do want to
like
play
that.
Monte Carlo just for the heck of it. I
Yeah.
want that
Monte Carlo.
$646,000 progressive.
Yeah.
If you win it, remember your good pal Dave.
I remember where I came from.
We don't know.
First, I'm
We
taking
don't
care
have
of Dave
super
because
chats yet,
Dave
but
and Dave, then it goes to Mark. Because Mark won that big one on top dollar, double top dollar. And I'm like,
oh man,
that's got to be ridiculous.
that was
I bet you almost fell over.
quite the
didn't you?
night.
Yeah.
Quite the night. But I don't play at that level anymore. I don't. It was
gets
too
hard
scary. It
too.
was off of free play. It was really cool. It was a lot of fun. But
I remember that
yeah,
2x,
those days
2x,
are
and I was
done.
like, that was sick. Watching that
Yeah,
video.
that was out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I think I wanted to add something else to your question. I think it's really good for people is you try to think of the denomination you're playing. It's all in relation to your bet, like your bankroll. And I think the 1% rule that Brantley and I talked about is pretty good. But I do it a little bit different than he does. He says, whatever your budget is, $1,000, your 1% rule means you play $10 machines until you're out of money. I think of it differently. I say 1% based on the current budget that you have or current cash that you have. So if you're up to the 1,000, yeah, you can comfortably play $10 machines for a little while, but I think you should reevaluate after you put a couple hundred in and maybe go back down to the 5 and build up. And I know you're good at building stuff up because you've already talked about on pinball how you do that with the 6 credit bet. That's the things that I would do. So if you do want to risk some of your winnings, and I'm using that word, specifically winnings in the high limit room, it's totally fine, but always reevaluate very quickly because as you can imagine in those rooms, money goes really fast. Now you can win really fast too, but money can go really fast if you get caught up in the moment. And that's what we definitely don't I mean, literally, you can work for
Tony,
hours
just
to
smash that
turn your
cash up like
$100 into 400.
Yep.
I mean, 2 or 3 hours worth of play, and then you can go into the high limit room and lose it within 2 to 3 minutes. Like, that's how fast it can go.
It's gone.
And you should only do that if you're.
What do
if
you,
you
just an
go.
opinion question, if you don't mind me asking.
No, what was your question?
What do you think about Circus High Limit Room? Do you like it?
I have a.
I like it.
I like
I was
it
in
too.
there once.
I like
I
it
think
too. It's nice.
they have a couple of old school double top dollars in there. Pretty nice. They've
Couple
got
I
some
like
of the
Circuit
newer
in
ones.
general there. I don't know why Circuit gets a lot of hate, but I just like it.
I
It's kinda-
liked it.
It's pretty. It's new. I mean, I
I
like
liked.
Four
I
Queens.
liked it. I don't have any issues with it, honestly. I went for the first time with you, Dave. I mean, no, I was
Yeah.
there before, but I just walked through it.
You've been there before.
But I thought I had no issues with it. I love the look,
The
especially of
restaurants are
the
good.
like the sports book area. Oh my gosh, man, those screens are huge. And then on the top level, they have video poker lining the entire thing, so you can go up there and play video poker and watch the games on the big. I mean, it's a really cool place. I
Did a
like
really good job with it.
Yeah.
It feels like an old casino, but it's brand new. You know, it's got
Right.
a good feel to it. It is a little loud. I'll give you that. Like the music is a little on the loud side. But that's just I want to hear the game playing. You know,
It's downtown.
but
I
that's
mean,
just
what do you
me.
expect?
Yeah,
Downtown's loud.
it's
anyway.
downtown. It's a big party downtown.
Yeah.
David,
All
I
right.
really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
Bro, thank you, especially a second time. We'd definitely like to hear back. I mean, I know you got a good solid base going. We couldn't help you much because I think you got all the tools to succeed. But I'd definitely like to hear about your next trip, especially if you can make it Tuesday. We're going to be there on Tuesday, the 21st. We'll be there pretty much all day long, and we'll be playing all those games we talked about. Wish you the best of luck and keep staying like you're doing. You're doing great with your strict budget, you know, kind of having a reserve as well, not having that temptation of going, playing the right games. I think you've got a great setup for success already. Just keep doing it. Keep being consistent.
I
Totally
appreciate
agree.
it. All right.
And we're gonna say gamble smart, and Dave's gonna say,
Gamble safe.
All right.
there we go.
All right.
We're gonna
Thank
see
you
you
so
next
much.
time.
That was fun.
Real soon.